I will type HTTP // 192.168.1.100. This is IP address I have given, right? So index.html is the default file it will load. Without any problem, it will be loaded. So you can see whatever I have edited, it has come up. CN demo. Okay. Now that is come. Now if I give HTTP yes, then also it will come. Okay, HTTPS. So now this time it is using HTTPS protocol. Now it is using HTTP protocol. If I want to give /index, this also it's perfectly fine. I can give. So it will give the same input. Now what I'll do is, in order to study this, what I'll do is what I have to do is I'll go to simulation. Then what I'll do is I'll come here. I'll open this. Now I will click on go button. So the packet is initiated here, you can see. Okay. Now the moment I click here, it will keep moving. So now what it is happened actually, HTTP request is the TCP connection is actually gone. Then after that HTTP request is gone, HTTP response is come. So that communication is got over now. Okay. Yeah, now the communication is got over. So we'll be able to exactly see what has happened. So I'll just tell. Let me wait. Let's see. Let's wait for it to finish. Okay. Okay. So I think it is stopped now. So in order to understand these packets, you can just double click on the on this colored box. It will open up what is there. So here you can see TCP source port is 1028 and destination port is 80. So it is essentially a connection establishment takes place basically. Okay. So it's got restarted, I guess. Okay. I will click on reset simulation. Let me play it once again. So sorry. Now, so you please go through that. You click on that box and try to understand. Now I'll give HTTPS. Okay, HTTPS, and I will click on reset simulation. Sorry, I made it. Okay. When it is empty, I'll just click on go. So the first packet is ready now. I'll click on play button here. So the request will go. This is actually the connection establishment will take place. Even in HTTP also the same thing will take place. HTTPS, if you click, you can see layer 7 data actually. There is nothing to see, or it is encrypted in other way. Okay. None of the HTTPS data you will be able to see. Okay, it's all encrypted form. Okay, that's what in Wireshark, if you capture HTTPS, you can see some junk characters which will be in encrypted form. Okay, whereas in HTTP you can see the data is in plain text form. So the last four TCP communication are actually connection termination. So basically connection establishment, your HTTP request, For that, you will get an acknowledgement, then your HTTP communication, then the connection termination takes place. So we will understand the connection establishment and connection termination once we discuss transport layer. So time being, you just understand that the connection establishment will take place, then HTTP communication. HTTP is a HTTP or HTTPS, both are connection oriented. It uses TCP. So TCP acknowledgement will come. Then after the communication, connection termination will take place. So I hope it is little more clear. Okay. Rakshit, it must be clear to you also what is the actual difference between HTTP and HTTPS. In the point of communication, both are same, but in terms of encryption, there is a difference between HTTP and HTTPS.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Vishwa sir,
Sir.
can you take up, sir, now?
Yeah, I can start.
Students, by the way, if you have any doubts, you may clear it now. Otherwise, sir will start now.
I'll share the screen.
I'm not able to close it actually. Yeah. Sir, please download the attendance list also. I don't have that privilege.
Yeah, thanks.
Sir,
Yeah.
can you make everyone attendees, sir?
Yes, Priya.
Thank you, sir.
Can you see the presentation, students? Hello?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet, sir.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It is
Okay.
coming, sir.
Okay, so sir has discussed about web and HTTP in the previous class. In HTTP, you might have observed how does uh, a request message looks, and what is the difference between a request message and a response message? What are the different types of methods that you have? Get, put, post, delete, and what is one more? Get, put, post, delete. What is the other one? Kind of end. Head. Sorry. Yes, head. Okay. So these are the different types of methods, and for those methods, you will get a status code with a response. So generally 200 okay will be the normal status code, and it's phrased what you get, because most of the times our request will be successful. And if there is if the web page is not working, then you may get 400 error, 404 error, many different different status codes are available. Okay, so in today's class, with this knowledge, we will start with uh, something called as cookies. So what do you mean by cookies?
Excuse me, sir, your screen is black.
I am sharing it again till that. What do you mean by cookies?
It's an identifier of customers who are visiting a particular website.
Okay, so basically, why do you need that? Why do you need cookies? Can anyone tell me?
So HTTP is basically a stateless protocol. So when we browse between pages, we need to store little information. So to solve this problem, we use cookies,
Okay.
especially in authentication.
Okay. What do you mean by stateless?
It won't remember anything, sir. There is every request is independent, sir.
Yes. So students, listen. Basically, HTTP is a stateless protocol. That means whatever the communication that you do with any kind of a browser, any kind of a server, so that information about your communication will not be stored in it will not be tracked or stored by your HTTP protocol. Okay, so generally, to have information about what all websites you have visited, what you have done with your communication, to have a state information, cookies will help you to store that. Okay, so where these cookies are stored, how cookies will actually store that state information, everything we are going to discuss now. So basically, say for example, today you are from your system, you are visiting Amazon website for the first time. Okay, after visiting Amazon website, what you do, you will browse some products there, and then you will come out. Okay, tomorrow when you try to log in to the Amazon server again, so you may get recommendations on what kind of products you have researched in the previous day. You might have observed it. So HTTP is a stateless protocol. That means it will not keep track of what you have done in the previous day, a previous moment itself. It will not keep track of that. Then how you get recommendations from Amazon website that these are the products you have researched in the previous day, and you may require these products. Okay, so that is with the help of cookies. Okay, that is with the help of cookies. So let's see that many websites use cookies. So what are the four components? So cookies header line of HTTP response message. So we have not seen a header information with respect to cookie till now, but we are going to add it now. So there will be a header line from the server side when it gets a response message. Okay, cookie header line in the next HTTP request message, then cookie file kept on user's host managed by the user's browser and backend database website. Okay, these are the things or four components which you need to keep in mind. Cookie header line in the response message, what you get, and when you do the next time a request to the particular website, you will add a cookie request line in the header. Then cookie file which is basically placed in the browser and then in the backend of the database also. So let's see, there is a very good picture in the next slide. Okay, so a client basically trying to reach a server, so which is an eBay server. So usual HTTP message goes to the server. So Amazon server creates an ID. Okay, so forget about this eBay. That is a cookie which is already there in the client's machine. Okay, let me take the pointer. Okay, listen students, this is a eBay cookie which is already stored in the client's browser. Okay, forget about this now. Now client is making a request to the Amazon server, and this is for the first time. So client doesn't have any cookie already stored with respect to Amazon server in its browser. Okay, usual HTTP request will be sent to the Amazon server, and Amazon server, after looking into the HTTP request, it understands that there is no cookie field added in the HTTP request. Hence, this is the first time this particular client is making a request to the server, and it creates a ID. Okay, Amazon server creates an ID 1678 for this particular user and creates an entry in its backend database. Okay, next what happens when it sends a response to the client, it adds a set cookie field in the HTTP response message. Okay, in the HTTP response message, it sends a set cookie field which will be 1678 ID which it has created, and it comes to the client. Okay, in the client you can see initially only eBay cookie was there. Now Amazon cookie is also there. Okay. Next time when this particular clients make a request to the Amazon server, it adds that cookie 1678 in its header, even in the request message. In the initial request message, you can see there is no cookie. Now, when a cookie is already generated and created in the client's browser, it adds that cookie and sends it to the server. Is it clear? It's the work of the browser to find what is the cookie for this particular Amazon server and add it in the request. Is it clear, students? When it comes here, cookie specific action. Cookie specific action in the sense what it may give you recommendations, and it can identify you. Basically, the authentication is done here. It will identify, okay, this particular system has already communicated with me, and so is the communications which this system has done till now. Usual HTTP response will come back. Okay, even after a week later, the same thing will happen. Exactly, it's not that immediately. Even after a week later, the same thing will happen with respect to cookies. Is that clear, students? So what cookies can be used for? Authorization, shopping cart, recommendations, user session state. Okay, then how to keep a state? Protocol endpoints maintain state at sender and receiver over multiple transaction. So HTTP messages carry these states with a cookies, with a cookie header. Okay, so cookie and privacy. Cookies permit sites to learn a lot about you. You may supply name and emails to sites. Okay, and you can clear it. Whatever the cookie that is generated in the that you saw in the previous message, that can be cleared. You have an option. You go to the history and clear all the cookies. Next time when you make a request to the Amazon server, it will be like a fresh request. Amazon server will not find you at all. Okay, if you clear all the cookies and send a request again. Is that clear, students? So
Sir, sir, there cannot be a HTTP response without a HTTP request, no, sir?
no, there cannot be an HTTP response without a request.
But why am I getting ads from Amazon when I'm using YouTube, sir? It is well and good if that recommendation works only when I'm using Amazon, no, sir?
No, basically what happens when you are using YouTube, video, when you're watching a YouTube video, you get requests, you get advertisement messages. Right? Those advertisement messages are created in a different way. So it is not you making a request there. It is from the YouTube or the video channel which you are viewing. From their side, you are getting this as an advertisement. Okay.
So that is also using cookies, no, sir?
Yes, basically that also will track of your system cookie. Yes, that is also, that can also track your communication, what you have done before.
Yes, sir.
But you need not send a request for that. If the cookie is already there in your system, the browser will provide that information to the respective website from where you are getting the advertisements.
Fine, sir. Fine, sir. So we can disable cookies, no, sir?
Yeah,
only
yeah.
when using that particular application or software we can enable.
You can do that. You can do that.
Yes.
It's all in the browser settings. What you do, you can go to advanced settings and do that. Okay. So
Yes, sir, yes.
that's about web cookies. Now let us see web caches or proxy servers. So what do you understand is proxy servers? Why do we need proxy servers? Or it's also termed as web cache. What do you mean by that?
Some offline contents like images.
Okay. Anything else? My audible, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You might have used these words, right? You might have heard about proxy multiple times. What do you mean by that? What is a proxy server?
Sir, it is like all the frequently used data will be stored in somewhere, sir. So without, with the computer knows that we are frequently using the data, so it will we can take a less time to access the data.
Okay, great. You're almost there.
First time it will take a long time. So if you are frequently using the data, to minimize the response time, it is web caches are used.
Okay. So basically, students, say for example, again, we'll take up Amazon web page, initial web page of the Amazon. So you send a request to the Amazon web page. So basically what happens, there will be a proxy server. There are different levels of proxy. Okay. There will be a proxy server in between you and the origin server. You can see here. So a client sends a request. That request will not directly go to the origin server. Okay. The request will go to the proxy server side first. If the proxy server have that web page with it already, proxy server itself will give you the response. So that is where you are reducing the response time and you are actually reducing the traffic in the network, because this proxy server basically will be there in your network only. This is your network, and we know that inside our network always the speed will be very high, whereas when you are sending a request outside your network, the speed will gradually decrease. Okay, drastically it will decrease. So what happens, you send a request from the client, it comes to the proxy server. If proxy server have it, it will only give you, and within fraction of seconds. You cannot just differentiate it, but you will get it quickly. Okay, but if this proxy server doesn't have that web page with it, what it will do, it will send the request to origin server. From proxy, request will go to origin server. Origin server will send the response to proxy first, store it, and then gives back that to the client. Okay, next time tomorrow when you are making a request, again that request will go to proxy server. Proxy server already have it because yesterday it has stored that web page in its sir, in its database, then it will give it to you directly. Is that clear? So basically, two things you are taking benefit of proxy. One is the response time is very less. The other one is you are avoiding traffic in the internet, right? See, generally what happens, like practically around 40 to 50% of your general requests are served by proxy itself. In that case, you can imagine if proxies are not there, how many number of requests and what will be the traffic intensity in the internet. It will be huge. Okay, these proxies are actually avoiding 50% of the traffic in the internet. Okay, so that's the reason why proxy servers play a very important role in network architecture. Okay, so what is the goal? Satisfy client request without involving origin server. User sets browser web access via cache. Browser sends all HTTP requests to the cache. Objects in the cache, cache return the object. Else cache requests object from origin server, then returns object to the client. Okay, so you can see HTTP request, response, and the response will, in the next time when you make a request, so that is already available in the proxy. Proxy itself will give you the response. Okay, but it will not solve your actual problem. Okay, so can anyone tell me what will be the issue with it? If you have understood the concept, you can tell me what will be the issue with it.
Sir, it will display the previously fetched data, sir. It will not load the most recent version of the website.
Yes. Say for example, today I have sent a request to a particular website and I will get the response, and that is stored in the proxy already. Okay. So when that is stored in the proxy, next week I will send a request to the same website. Proxy have it and proxy will give me that initial web page. Now, if the web page is updated, are you going to get the updated web page? No, you don't get, you can't get the updated web page. Okay, so basically you will get the web page which is already stored and in the proxy server, which might be an old web page. Okay, so there is something called as conditional get. Okay, you know what is get method now, right? I hope get method is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Get method is clear to everyone, and now we are introducing another method called as conditional get. Basically, conditional get will be sent from proxy to the origin server. What happens? You send a request to the proxy server. Even though proxy have that particular web page in it, proxy will send a conditional get request to the origin server. What is conditional get? Conditional get is just a request to know whether there is any change in the web page or not. Only if there is a change in the web page, origin server will give the updated web page to the proxy server. If there is no change in the web page, origin server will send a very small response to the proxy server. So basically, the number of requests and response will be the same, but the data that you are transferring is less here. See, instead of sending a web page, if origin server sends a small response message, that also will reduce huge amount of traffic in the network. Is that clear? So what happens? Basically, client will send a request to the proxy server. Proxy server will check whether it have it. So if it have what it will send a conditional get request to the origin server, and basically to check whether there is any update. If there is no update, origin server will send a very small message to the proxy server, and proxy server will respond with the actual page what it have it with. Okay, that is how proxy servers work. Let us see that. So cache acts as both clients and server. Server for original requesting client, client to origin server. Okay, typically cache is installed by internet service provider, so it is there in our campus also, university, company, residential ISP. So why web caching? Reduces response time for client request, reduce traffic and the institution's access link. Internet dense with caches enables poor content providers to effectively deliver content. Okay. Yeah, I have changed the slide.
We can't see.
This previous web cache slide you saw, right? That was visible to you?
Yes, sir. Now also same page.
The diagram. Can you see the page with the diagram, students?
So we can see the web cache introduction page.
Yeah, can you see a diagram in that? A figure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now can you see the next slide? More about web caching?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now students,
No, sir. Same slide is there.
okay, just a second. Is it changed? I think I have to stop sharing and again reshare it. Is it changed now, students?
No, sir.
Just a second. Can you see the screen now, students? Students, can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So there is a very good example here. What you can see. So there is an institutional network which is displayed to you, and you have a public network. Okay. So okay, this is your public internet, and there are origin servers in the public internet. You can see an institutional network, and there is one server given here, and this server is the proxy server. Imagine this is the proxy server. Okay, so now this institutional link has 1 Gbps link, whereas the external public internet link have only 1.54 Mbps. Okay, imagine the difference. 1 Gbps link and 1.54 Mbps. So these institutional systems which are there here sends request to the server, and this particular cache or web proxy, if itself have that information or web page, it will directly give it to you with 1 Gbps connection. Okay, and if it doesn't have, that request has to go to the public internet, which is 1.54 Mbps. You can see the difference there, students. So there is an assumption here. Average object size is 100 bits, 100 kilobits. Average request rate from browser to the origin server is 15 per second. There are 15 requests which goes per second to the origin server. Average data rate to the browser is 1.50 Mbps. That's what we have here, data rate. So RTT is round trip time, students. A request will go from here and comes back. RTT from institutional router to any yeah.
We still see the web cache goal and 2 points wala slides. Client proxy server.
Yes, sir.
Again, you can't see the current slide.
No, sir. We are seeing the web cache slide, sir.
Now?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, I stopped sharing and reshared it again. Still. Okay, we will stop here. The next class, I will share it and explain it to you. Okay. So hope this cookies and the purpose of caching is understood. Do you have any questions on this cookies and web caching?
No, sir.
Okay. So we will stop here. You can leave for the day, students. So we will meet again on Monday. We don't have classes on Friday, right? So Monday we will meet again. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.